Hi, this is Micornus, Phokane, the leader and the founder of Church Governance Solutions. We are dealing with common challenges in established churches, internal challenges in established churches. And we have dealt with this in the past few days, and I want to embark on part 3 today. And we want to deal with these challenges as they are very common in established churches. And as I've said, established churches having challenges, yes, they do. And these are the challenges that we want to deal with so that we can be able to avoid them and we can be able to see our established churches continue to flourish and do well every day of their lives. Now, the first challenge that I want to deal with today is what we call secret financial gimmicks and stealing of the finances as well. This is very, very crucial. Now, if structures are not being put in proper place regarding the finances of the church, in established churches, because remember that most of the established churches, they've got actually finances passing from one end to another. Because as I said, that most of the established churches, you find that they've got a head office somewhere. They've got a central control office somewhere. But monies have been collected from local churches. And as they go through local churches, they will be collected by the collectors, and they will actually be counted those monies and get to the finance team of the local church. From the finance team of the local church, that money may be sent to what we call a regional level, where there's a finance team maybe of the region. And if the team of the region collaborate the monies from the region, from different churches in the region, and therefore they will maybe get the money up to the national level. And if they get it to the national level, now monies are actually being administered that way. And also remember that as money passes from hands to hands, one hand to another, it actually runs a risk of being manipulated and being taken or siphoned out to somewhere. Now, I want to emphasize the fact that we always become naive and think that people in church may not take money. But this is a great challenge in churches that are established, where monies actually get lost, where monies are siphoned into pockets of individuals and nobody is aware of that. Now, this is the reason why, as Church Governance Solutions, we do address financial management in local churches as well. We do address how to manage public finances, which are the church finances, because church finances becomes public finances. Therefore, they need to be managed as such. And based on that, we give some strategy of how to then manage the finances. And we have seen that if churches don't have policies or ways of how to manage their finances, the finances go down into the drain because people steal the monies. People use the monies for their own selfish motives. And we have seen that in established churches, some of the established churches are actually ruled by the senior pastor or prophet or apostle or senior bishop who's running the church on his own, on an individual basis, whereby all the monies are actually going to the coffers of the leader. And that is one of those things that are real challenges in a church. And sometimes it may not be that it's the leader himself that takes the money, but it could be the board members. It could be the leaders or the elders that are actually assigned to manage the church. The money is siphoned into their own pockets. Now, these are the gimmicks that happens in churches, but we become naive because we think a church is a holy place whereby everybody is holy and everybody's an angel and everybody respects the finances of the church, but it's not so. And I want to emphasize that. Now, we must be careful to know that this is one of the challenges in established churches. And they are faced with these challenges because there are monies that are getting lost along the way. There are projects that are being initiated for nefarious reasons. And some of the projects are actually being initiated in order to siphon the money, to make that a milk cow, to milk through a certain project. Now, if the structures are not being put in place, monies are going to get lost when it comes to the finances of the church. We have seen some whereby even in building funds, in building projects, whereby people will organize their own bodies to come and work of certain projects and overpay them in order to siphon the money of the church out there. And that becomes problematic, and it becomes a challenge in established churches. And we have seen these things happening, and they are there. We cannot ignore them. The other challenge that I want to deal with today, this is for established churches, is what we call demonic onslaught and witchcraft operations in those churches. And this is something that is with naive members, with naive people. They may think that this is really untoward. And you may think that, are you sure that there are some demonic onslaughts and witchcrafts in churches? Yes, there are there. And some of the members would know that in most established churches, because people are fighting for power, people are fighting for positions as well. People tend to go to witch doctors and to try to strengthen themselves for those positions, because they're forever suspicious that people will fight them off those positions and people will kill them, and therefore their protection is not in the Lord. They go out to seek protection outside. And that is the reason why people will go to witch doctors and use mutis and all these jujus in order to protect themselves in the positions that they're in. And we've seen people that will develop jealousy against others in churches to an extent that people poison each other in churches. And this is actually very common in established churches, because people have actually come to a point where they are doing maintenance mode of the vision. There's nothing really taking place in the church except that people are juggling around for positions. And I want to emphasize this, that demons thrive very well where the Holy Spirit is not entertained anymore, where the Holy Spirit is not considered as the main man in the church. And therefore, you'll see that demonic manifestation will come in there. And hence you will see that people will start actually doing gimmicks like what they call false miracles and so on, fake miracles and so on. And those are demonic forces that are being brought in the church. And most of them look to be very spiritual. But I want to tell you now that even those in established churches, you find that even the pastors themselves, some of them go to the underworlds, go to consult from evil altars and bring them in. You find that elders will go out to go and consult from evil altars as well, to come and cast spells in churches and so on. Now, I want to emphasize this because it's something that many of us are actually naive of, and we are ignorant about this. And that is why you find that in some of the churches, there will forever be casting of spirits every day, but nothing is happening to actually release or deliver those people. The very same people, of course, that you delivered yesterday, these are the very same people on the pew and on the prayer line. These are the very same people that you're casting demons out of. I mean, you have casted demons yesterday out of these individuals, but today again, because these are the spirits that are hovering into this particular church. And because the church has become very, very arrogant, because it is an established church, it is a church that thinks that they've arrived, and as a result, they don't pray anymore. They don't even become holy anymore. They live life like they are people of the world. And as a result, then the demons come and make their onslaught there, because they become very comfortable in a setup like that. And I want to speak about this, that in churches like that, people are not afraid actually to do wrong things in that particular church. People will behave anyhow, people will do things anyhow, but yet still hold Bibles and go to church. And this is very key that we emphasize that, because it's not everyone who's in church that we should regard as fearing God. These people in churches like this, they don't fear God anymore. They'll do anything, anytime. And that is why there's a demonic manifestation, and that is why you'll find that there are some onslaughts of demons, there are some evil spells that are being casted out, and all those things. And I must emphasize that it's very important for us to understand that these things are happening, and they do happen, and we cannot ignore that at all. The other challenge, of course, in these particular established churches is what we call divisions of ethnicity and sometimes tribalisms of oppositions as well. You'll find these type of churches whereby people actually group themselves into nationalities. They group themselves into languages. They group themselves into backgrounds, and because of that, you find these people are actually grouping themselves into certain group of individuals. Now, because we are the same nationality, then we are appointing each other into positions. Because we are the same, of course, ethnic group, we actually appoint each other into this. And in fact, that this church becomes then ethnic ground. It becomes a place where people then divide and fight because of groups and because of ethnicity and tribalism as well. And we have seen those tribalistic churches that are actually tribalic because of they garner around the pastor who's of that certain nation. But why we are mentioning this is because we have seen that people tend to go to churches of pastors of their same nationality, of their same tribal nature. And this is very important that as leadership of churches, we become very intentional in cutting off this. We become very intentional in destroying this spirit that may come to bring division in the church itself. And this is very key. Why we are mentioning this, very, very important, that it is very, very key that we become aware of this and therefore run away from issues like this earlier on, so that we know earlier on that we will be able to manage this. This is very, very important. So please make sure that as a leader, you avoid the thing of tribalism. You avoid the thing of ethnicity as well. We avoid issues of divisions among the people because of the ethnic groups and the skin colors and so on. We've seen that happening in different churches, and it needs to be avoided by all means. I want to end up here today, your host, Micornus Phokane. Thank you very much for listening to us and be part of this great topic. I know that you have listened to us and you have enjoyed listening to us. Please continue listening to us as we deal with part 4 tomorrow. And I know that you will love that as we deal with part 4. May the good Lord bless you. Please follow our YouTube channel. Subscribe to it. Make sure that you are part of it. And also, please don't forget the fact that we have in Facebook pages, Micornus Phokane, and the Facebook page, Church Governance Solutions. And make sure that you like those pages, you click notification buttons, and make sure that you're part of these great teachings as they come. May the good Lord bless you. Allow me to check out right here and say cheers for now.